I loved Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. No cap, as the kids say these days. If you missed my review, go check it out. It's a cheap, sleazy slasher movie, having fun being a cheap, sleazy slasher movie. And because I love cheap, sleazy slasher movies, it was right up my alley. My cheap, sleazy alley. Of course, there was the controversy over the makers of Blood and Honey turning beloved characters like Winnie the Pooh and his 100-acre crew into twisted, bloodthirsty monsters. But there's a twisted side of me that found a honey-drooling Winnie the Pooh slaughtering people immensely entertaining to watch. So when Blood and Honey 2 was announced, I couldn't wait to watch it. Blood and Honey 2 takes place 1 year after the events of the first film and finds Christopher Robin in therapy and Pooh and crew on the run. Poor Christopher is now the town pariah, and everyone just assumes that he's responsible for the 100-acre wood massacre. No, really. They all just assume that he put on a Winnie the Pooh mask and went all stabby on those folks. But at the same time, both the locals and the local authorities are searching the 100-acre wood for a big bear man in overalls who loves honey and murder. And to further elicit Pooh fever, there's already been a movie produced based on the massacre. And according to Blood and Honey 2, that movie is the original Blood and Honey. The first movie was just that, a movie. Not the actual events you see, but a movie based on those events, produced by heartless mercenaries just looking to make a quick buck. It's a play on the controversy the first movie created, but I also kind of took it as a jab at the first movie. Being self-effacing is cool and all, and they knew exactly what kind of movie they were making, but there would be no Blood and Honey 2 without Blood and Honey. And what about those of us brave enough to face the overwhelming adversity and still wave the Blood and Honey flag proudly? Maybe I just read into that too much and it's not that deep. You feel for poor Christopher here, because in the wake of the massacre, he's lost friends, he's lost his job, he's under investigation by the cops, and everyone just casually assumes that he's a murderer and want nothing to do with him. Scott Chambers is quite good as Christopher Robin, and I appreciated that they gave the character some depth. But Christopher Robin is not the only character here given depth. This is a sequel after all, so of course, more of Pooh's background has to be revealed, whether it needs to be or not. My vote is not. Blood and Honey 2 goes down the same path a lot of sequels do, and then it feels like it needs to over-explain things, provide us with shocking reveals, and describe motives, when none of the above is needed. When they introduced the angle involving Pooh's background, I immediately groaned. I mean, do we really need to know how Pooh and crew were created, and what Pooh's true identity is? You see it coming a mile away, so there's no shock factor, and it just felt soap opera-ish and unnecessary. But I know what you're thinking. This is Blood and Honey 2. We're here for the slaughter. Well, in that case, if blood is your honey, then you're in for a sweet treat, because Pooh is pissed. We get bear traps to the face, shotgun blasts to the face, acid puke to the face, limbs broken and severed and then used to bludgeon, eyes gouged out, and heads torn from shoulders like ripe fruit from the vine. As for makeup and gore effects, it's a combination of some pretty good practical effects and some pretty lousy CGI. But Pooh isn't the only one getting in on the carnage here. He's brought some new friends along with him who are just as bloodthirsty. Among them is Owl. Owl takes on this supervillain-like quality. He's the scout for Pooh's crew, has a wicked British accent as all supervillains should, and he's not afraid to get his wings dirty. And of course, Tigger is here too, putting his claws to good use, slicing and dicing people left and right during the third act. All the makeup and prosthetic designs look good. The Pooh design in particular is far more detailed and expressive here, but honestly, I kind of prefer the look from the first movie. I mean, right? The centerpiece of Blood and Honey 2 is a rave that Pooh and his pals crash in the final act, and as much of a bloodbath as it is, it could have been so much more. Picture this setup. Pooh enters a rave all by his lonesome. A bear man with one single objective: death to all. The unsuspecting ravers, all hopped up on Molly and Zimas, have no idea what's about to happen to them. And then nothing happens. Well, it happens. It just happens off screen. We see the aftermath later, which looks like it was a bloody fun time. And it was, for Pooh, just not for us. You can tell that co-writer and director Rhys Frake-Waterfield had a substantially larger budget with Blood and Honey 2 than he did the first time around. Everything looks and feels bigger. But better? It's a mixed bag for me. There's just as much here I liked as I disliked. I'm sure the consensus here will be that Blood and Honey 2 is a vast improvement over Blood and Honey, and it is on a lot of levels, but not necessarily where it matters the most. At least for me. Blood and Honey 2 is still a cheap, sleazy slasher movie, but to coin one of my favorite colloquialisms, it just got a little too big for its britches. If you've seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments section below. Did you enjoy the sequel better than the original, or do you enjoy the original more than the sequel? Let me know. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A huge thank you to all my patrons and channel members for your generosity and support. Become a patron today and get early access to videos, have a say in what content appears on my channel, join me for monthly live streams, exclusive watch parties, and more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream, as well as members-only watch parties. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.